Well, hello, 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 and how is everybody today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to give it a minute. I want to check, make sure I am where I need to be. Today, I'm actually streaming on a different platform today, besides the usual two, which is YouTube and my personal Facebook page. I'm also streaming on my business page too. So let's see if I am there, so I can just give a holler. Oh, there we go. I am there. Let's see if I am there. Just give a holler. See, hear that voice? There we go. Okay, so I'm there. Excellent. So if anyone is tuning in from my business page, please let me know. Say hi, and there we go. And we're gonna go into the YouTube channel. Well, I want to land on my personal page. So let's check out YouTube next. Make sure I am there, and then we're gonna dive in. This is an unusual experience for today, unusual occasion, shall I say. All right, so I am on my YouTube page. For those who are there, do me a favor and just hit the thumbs up. Go ahead and share it out. And if you have not subscribed to the page yet, please do me the honor of subscribing. And if you want to, hit that little bell so when I do go live, you know that I'm there. All right, so I'm going to go and land on my personal page on Facebook. So I perhaps might gain some connections there. So I'm going to call in some folks, let them know that I am on. So perhaps they can tune in and gain some wisdom today. Do one or two others, and that will be it for today. Then I want to dive into my topic and also give you my undivided attention. So here I am, all done with the housekeeping, making sure that I am where I need to be. And I want to just say hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who are new to me, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, and also the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck. Super excited to be with you today. And as you can tell from my background, I'm actually home. I'm home. It is Friday. And a little intro regarding Friday. Hello, I want to just give a shout out to those who are joining me right now on my Facebook page. Good morning, or should I say good afternoon, Gail. Nice to see you here, my dear. And anybody else who's popping in, I will take a peek at my page once I am done and before I dive into the actual reading. So today is Friday, and Fridays are ruled by Venus energy. And it's also my day off, interesting enough. But some of you might be saying, well, if it's your day off, why are you sitting in front of a screen? Well, to me, this is play. So it's part of a playful day for me. And I enjoy doing it anyway. I enjoy giving insight to each and every one of you. And most importantly, what I really love doing is making sure every one of you know how to navigate with our planets. And understanding that the planets do shift quite frequently. There's a lot of cosmic energy going on right now as we speak. And there's a lot of energy that flows in our body as well. After all, every planet is associated with our body. Every planet is associated with our chakra system. And every planet is associated with a specific zodiac sign as well. So with that being said, what I would like to do today is share some insight regarding our planet Mercury. Now, many of you know Mercury when it's in Mercury retrograde, which, believe it or not, is going to be going very shortly. We are in what's called the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. We are literally 4 days away from it being in the actual outburst of Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury gets a bad name, a bad rap. Many people think when Mercury goes retrograde that it is just terror time. It's horrifying, it's overwhelming, it creates a lot of havoc to people's lives. However, And I used to be the same. I used to believe that was so, based on the different astrologers that I would listen to and follow in the past. However, in the last, I'm going to say 5 years, that has shifted for me. My mindset regarding Mercury retrograde isn't really about the horrificness and the chaos of Mercury retrograde as much as it's about a time to reflect. And depending on where Mercury is, what zodiac sign Mercury retrogrades in, gives us a really great theme to what the focus will be. Now, just a little one-on-one on astrology in case some of you may not know. There are 4 elements to our zodiacs. There's water, there's air, fire, and earth. And depending on which zodiac sign Mercury goes retrograde in will then determine the emotional state. So just quick breakdown. When we think about the water signs, it's emotional. And water signs fall under Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Emotional signs. Air signs are Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. And that's more like the intellectual. Some of it's about overthinking, and some of it is about the spiritual communication of it all. How we think, how we maneuver in our mind, so to speak. Then we have fire sign, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And then last but not least, we have our earth signs, which is Virgo, Libra, and also Capricorn. Those are earth signs. And I think I said that wrong. I definitely said that wrong. Our earth signs, when they come back, rule it back, rule it back, rule it back. Our fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I need my paperwork. Sometimes I do screw it up. And our earth signs are, there we go, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Now that I got that together. We don't want to mess that up, do we? No, we don't. We don't want to mess that up at all. Because we definitely want to know what elements are what elements. And when we think about earth signs, our earth signs are grounding, or theoretically want to be grounded. And our fire signs are about wanting to take action. And as I mentioned, our air signs are intellectual, overthinkers sometimes, or really attuned to their spiritual communication, depending on what side of the gate they're on for that day. And then our water signs are emotional. We're intuitive, and we need to go, we spend time alone a lot because we are so intuitive that when we are around too many people, it could be overwhelming for our psyche and also our bodies for that matter. So anyway, now that you know the one-on-one about the astrology elements, let's dive into Mercury and where that is for today, where that's been for a little while, and where it's going to be staying for the next 4 weeks. And that Mercury is in Gemini energy. Now, Gemini, as I mentioned, Gemini is an air sign. Gemini is associated with communication. Now, unlike Aquarius and I always get a brain fart here, and just said it. Why do I keep getting a brain fart? Unlike Aquarius and Libra, Gemini being in Mercury, or Mercury being in Gemini, Mercury likes to be in Gemini. Mercury likes to be in Gemini because Mercury is the ruler of Gemini energy. So it likes to be there. Not that it doesn't like to be in Aquarius or Libra, but it likes to be in its home because it's its ruler. So with that being said, we would think that this retrograde is going to be an easy go because Mercury likes to be in Gemini. Not that I'm saying it's not going to be an easy go, but what it is going to do, it's going to activate the communication based on our spirituality and tapping into our intuition. Those of us who are empaths, those of us who are very sensitive to other people's energy. And we don't have to necessarily be with the other person. It could just be that we might be watching a TV show, and there might be a lot of trauma going on in that TV show. So empathically, we are going to pick up that energy. So what the theme here for this Mercury retrograde in Gemini is really about tapping into where on your chart, where does Mercury, what zodiac does Mercury govern at this very time? And that's going to be the theme. That's going to be the avenue where the spirituality is going to come into play. How you interact with your intellect, intuitive thought process, and that higher realm, shall we say. So what I like to do today is I like to give you a forecast for each zodiac sign. Now, this forecast is a little different than when I do my weekly forecast where I share 3 cards for each zodiac sign. This one is going to be 1 card for each zodiac sign. This way it makes it a little easier to understand. What I'm going to ask that you all do, those of you who are following, those of you who are watching, whatever it might be, I'm going to ask that you know your chart, and if you don't know your chart, that you go and look up your chart. And the chart that I like, that I refer my clients to, is astro.com. It's the most easiest chart to really read and understand and navigate through. So once you know what your Mercury energy is in, so for example, my Mercury on my chart is in Aquarius. Interesting, it's an air sign. So because it's actually in the same element as Gemini is in, for me, that's really going to highlight my intuitiveness because it's actually sharing the same element. So any of you who might have Aquarius or even Libra as in your Mercury energy, then that's going to amplify this energy a little more so than someone that may have a fire, earth, or yeah, I'm just really doing well today. Yes, I am. I really do need to take notes today. Where is my pen? Where is my pen? We have fire. Sometimes I do need notes. Earth, air, and water. There we go. I can't believe I forgot about water because that's one of my signs. So, and again, if you have Mercury in a water sign, again, it's going to be, but it's not going to be as intensified as if you do have the Mercury in the earth sign, no, the air signs, which would be either Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. But those of you who have Mercury in Gemini, then you're going to be on fire during this retrograde. And what do I mean by you're going to be on fire? Because it's in your first house. So it really is about self. It's about self-exploring. It's about communication with self and spirit. It's that one-on-one connection that you're going to have with spirit. This could very well be a time where you start to activate your spiritual gifts. Now, at the same token, as it being about that connection, whether you have Mercury in Gemini or whatever sign you have it in, this could also be a very, very overwhelming period of time because of that connection, spiritually speaking, where unless you're attuned to your psychic abilities and you're comfortable with connection with spirit, it could be overwhelming if you just randomly start to hear spirit speaking to you and not really sure how to respond to it. And during this time, that's what may very well happen to each and every one of us, where our ability to hear and speak to spirit may become highlighted. And it could be an overwhelming period of time. So what I like to do is dive right in, since I'm already 14 minutes into my video, into my live. I want to dive right in and talk to you about each zodiac sign. And remember, I'm going to be pulling 1 card for each sign. So, because you only have one sign in this particular area. So whatever your zodiac sign is in Mercury, and we're focused on Mercury today. So all you have to do is look at your chart. And usually I think it's the 4th planet down on your chart to the far left. And you can see where it'll say Mercury. Whatever that sign says, when I get to that sign, pay attention and even write it down if you wish, in regards to what the cards show. Now, if you are new to my page, the cards, each card, every card has 3 elements. It has a color which is associated with your chakra system, which is the primary factor here, which is what we're going to be working on to clear the energy from that chakra so things can flow a little easily for you. Also has an affirmation that's going to add to your story, but also give you a word to use when you feel like your vibration is a little low. Has a number. That number is associated with numerology, which provides a hidden message, but also associated with astrology, which connects you to a specific house. So hopefully you got that. So we're going to start with Aries. So Aries, if you have Aries in Mercury, that would be your 3rd house energy. And what that actually just means is that you Aries are going to learn how to communicate with spirit as Mercury is in retrograde. And yes, it could very well be a little overwhelming if you are not used to that connection. So for you, Aries, your card is play. So it will be a playful time for you to make this connection, to learn how to connect, create, and activate your abilities, because you're in your 3rd house energy, and 3rd house energy, interesting enough, is associated with Mercury. So even though your sign's not in Mercury, meaning you're not a Gemini, you're literally in that 3rd house, which is going to help you activate that communication, which is what the 3rd chakra is all about, communication. So this is going to be a really fun time for you, Aries, learning how for the very first time to make that connection with spirit. Where if you wanted to talk to a loved one that's crossed over, this could be a perfect time to have that conversation. Now, the number 16 is the number 7 in numerology, which is all about taking time to sit quietly and meditate. This could very well be a time for you to go to a spiritual awakening where you do make the connection with loved ones for the very first time. It's also that 7 energy is associated with astrology based on balance. This will help you bring more balance into your communication with yourself and with spirit. As Aries, it's all about it's all about you. It's all about your self-expression. But remember to be playful when you start to have this conversation. And if this is your first time moving into this amazing energy, be patient with yourself and recognize that there could very well be a little overwhelmness taken on in your mind because of this connection spiritually, connecting with spirit. So that's the card for Aries. Now, for those of you who are popping in onto my Facebook page, if I do not say hello right away, do not be insulted. I will definitely greet you at the end, or at least by the time I get to Virgo, because I really want to keep this running smoothly. So if I do not verbally say hello yet, do not get insulted. I do know that you're here. I will recognize everybody as we get down into Virgo, past Virgo, because that's the half-part mode, half-part goal. All right, so we're moving into Taurus. So those of you who have Taurus in Mercury energy, you're in your 2nd house energy. And what that means is it's about how you value and how you value the relationship. So how you value your relationships, the physical material possessions, how you value it, and that connection that you're going to have with communication, how you value communication with different people. Now, the fun thing about this, too, for all zodiac signs, anytime Mercury goes retrograde, it could very well be a period of time where old friends and old relationships show up again, meaning exes. Now, I had mentioned this on my radio show the other day. If you had a chance to see Joanne's Cosmic Energy radio show on Wednesday on Strong Island Radio, it's also available on most of your platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, etc., Audible as well. And I've said that when exes show up during a Mercury retrograde, it's not so much about rekindling with that ex as it is to have a conversation to move into that space of maybe some forgiveness, hearing the other person out, and letting them move along. And that's the same thing if old friends show up as well. It's just an opportunity to have a conversation, to forgive one another, so both of you can move forward. So Taurus, for you, because you are in your 2nd house, and it's your actual house associated with astrology, it is about how you value your relationships. And perhaps an old friend may show back up And for you, it may be really heartwarming because this person is here again, but it really is an opportunity for you just to reflect on something from the past and move into that space of forgiveness, and then allow yourself to move forward. And also recognizing how different you are. Now, interesting card that shows up for you, Taurus, is about new relationships. And Mercury can also do that too, as it's in Taurus energy for you on your chart. With the help of Gemini and this retrograde, this is an opportunity for you to connect with new relationships, a new relationship with yourself, because you're not the same person you were the other day or 6 months ago or even a year ago. So many new relationships will start to come in because of this new vibration that you are sending out to others. The chakra here is the root chakra. So it's really important for you to ground yourself during this retrograde because of the fact that it could be a little overwhelming to your intuition, into your spiritual segment, shall we say that. 2 and 8, which works out to be a 10. And we talk about 10 in astrology, it's associated to your soul's purpose. So new relationships could be associated with that soul's purpose. And that 10 is all about new beginnings when we talk about it in numerology. So you Taurus out there, being it's in your second house, this is really an opportunity for you to get out into the world and connect with different people. But to do so, really important to get grounded so you can stay connected to Earth and be mindful of your intuition and your psychic hits when they show up, and not to be overwhelmed. Love that for Taurus. All right, we're going to move into Gemini. Gemini, this Mercury retrograde is all about you. It's in your home. You are very comfortable right now. When we think about retrogrades in itself, retrogrades are a reflection period. Retrograde gives us the time to slow ourselves down and see what we need to change up, whether it's in communication, changing up our schedules a little bit, changing up on how we travel. That's what Mercury retrograde is all about. It's also about technology. So anything that is mastered, I'm going to use this word, mastered by technology, it is a really good time to check into that and review on that. But you Geminis, because this is your first house energy, this is all about a new beginning in the way you communicate with spirit. The spiritual wisdom that's going to show up for you. And it could be a little overwhelming because it may come in really, really fast. And it may throw you off course a little bit. So let's see what chakra you need to work on so you can be aligned with this amazing energy in your sign. Interesting card that shows up for you. The chakra is the crown, which when we think about the intuition, that's really where it is. It's the spiritual wisdom that taps into your crown. So you really want to spend time working on your crown chakra, so when that spiritual wisdom comes in, where you get to speak with spirit, it will come in easily without feeling stuck or even blocked for that matter. Now the affirmation is marriage. So now this is not the traditional marriage. This is really about what are you married to, what philosophies, but it's also about planning a marriage. So maybe during this Mercury retrograde, you might consider a proposal during this Mercury retrograde. Now, let's put this out there right on the table. Normally during a Mercury retrograde, there are a few things we don't do during a Mercury retrograde. And those things are purchasing items that are expensive, such as big items, such as buying a house, buying a car, signing any type of contracts. Okay, so usually during a Mercury retrograde, it's really not the best time to sign a contract. However, should Mercury be in Gemini for you on your chart, then you have to go ahead. It's a great time to sign the contract because it's in your chart. So pay attention to that. There's other things that we usually don't do during a Mercury retrograde. As I said, we don't sign contracts. We do not buy big purchases. So we really want to stay away from that. We don't buy a car as well. So those are the big things we want to avoid. At least those are the myths. Now, again, depending on you, you might feel like this is a perfect time to be doing that. So you might be planning a marriage. You might be actually getting married during this Mercury retrograde, which, interesting enough, to on a personal note, I will be attending a marriage during this Mercury retrograde, which is my daughter's wedding. So yes, I'm really excited about that. She and her fiance will be signing a contract during a Mercury retrograde. Quite interesting. I do need to go and check out their charts and see what's going on there for that to be taking place. Let's talk about that number for a minute. 88. The number 8, when we think about it, is about letting things go and bringing in new. So it's about letting the old chapter go and starting up a brand new chapter. Number 88 is 16, which is 7. So we have 7 here again. So this is really a time, if you want to really explore in this intuition, the spiritual connection, meditation is a really great place for that. Sitting quietly and making that connection with spirit and activating the crown chakra so the energy can come in easily. So that's for you Geminis out there. I love that. All right, so I just want to make an announcement again for those of you who are watching from my Facebook page. I will acknowledge you in just a few minutes. I'm just wanting to get through at least until Virgo, and then I'll acknowledge anyone who's here watching, and then I'll continue again. So I'm not ignoring. I'm just trying to stay focused. All right, we are moving into Cancer. So Cancer, you guys are in your 12th house energy, and what that means is that you are tying up loose ends regarding 12th house is associated with Pisces, and it's the most intuitive sign there is. So you being in the 12th house energy is definitely going to activate your spiritual connection with spirit. And because you are a water sign, this could be very overwhelming because you're already sensitive to begin with. So pay attention to when you are around others and do as much as you can to protect your energy at the same time. And what I mean by that, in a perfect example, today I happen to be wearing amethyst crystal. Now, amethyst is the highest level crystal for protection and also to connect with spirit. So would be clear quartz and also selenite. Those would be really great crystals for you Cancers to use during this time to protect your energy so you do not get overwhelmed. You can also use black onyx, tourmaline as well, and even obsidian, those darker crystals, to protect your energy during this time. So because you are tying up loose ends, you are sensitive. That intuition, the spiritual connection may come in really strong, but I do not want you to be overwhelmed by it. Let's see what chakra can help you, as long as you work on it, to clear your energy so you can receive these messages easily. Interesting card for Cancer. Surrender. So what do we talk about when we say surrender? Well, surrender everything and anything you feel that you need to do. So should you start to gain that insight from spirit, just allow it to come in. So if you're feeling anything in your body, if it starts to overwhelm your body where physical pain comes in, surrender it. Let it go. And just be open to this intuition. Be open to the fact that you're going to get a chance to speak to spirit. Spirit's going to interact with you as well. It's also going to help you really work on your heart chakra. So you can allow this information to show up so your heart will not feel so heavy should it be feeling heavy. Now, 6 and 8 is associated with 5. Know that during this Mercury retrograde, there will be a change that comes in regarding how you do connect with spirit. And if you can really work on that heart chakra, that energy can flow in easily, and you'll be less overwhelmed with this information that shows up to spirit. Call on your loved ones that's crossed over and ask them to be your guide. And in fact, ask them to show you the color green, or the number 5, to remind you to just surrender whatever resistance you may have to this connection with spirit. Because it really is time for you to activate your senses, specifically throat chakra, where you can get to hear what they have to say so you can receive the messages that you are so desiring to receive. So that's Cancer. Leo, you guys are in your 11th house energy, and that means connections. That means getting out into your community. That means going to social events such as meetup events and workshops and Reiki circles. And I say Reiki circles specifically because you want to go to places that's going to help you activate your senses. So if you can get to meditation circles, Reiki circles, you can go to even get a Reiki session, acupuncture sessions. These are things that's going to help you open up your energies so you can receive this information without it being so overwhelming. After all, you Leos, you like to have fun, but if you're overwhelmed, it causes a little friction to having fun. So let's see what one chakra you can work on during this retrograde so you can be comfortable connecting with your community. Because it is definitely time for you to be in your community during this Mercury retrograde. So scheduling up some times to get out, find the groups that's going to help you so you can really activate this energy. And I'm loving your card. Your card is about spiritual career. So maybe during this time, as you're out there communicating, connecting with your community, you might be activating a spiritual career. You might be moving in a different direction. Now, understanding that besides Mercury being in retrograde in Gemini, there's a lot of other planets going on right now that might very well help you with that spiritual career. So pay attention to that. The chakra here is the throat chakra, which is no surprise. Activate your throat chakra so when you are out in your communities at these different events, you can learn to express and you can really pay attention to what you're learning. So this beautiful retrograde is going to be insightful for you and not so overwhelming in regards to connecting to spirit. So that is for you Leos. All right, we're moving into Virgo, and then I'm going to bring my attention to the comments in Facebook. All right, so Virgos, you're in your 10th house. 10th house is associated with your purpose to why you're here. And sometimes we need a little guidance from spirit. So your intuition may become a little heightened so you can gain that guidance in regards to what direction you want to go to or what direction you should be going to. And the card that fell out the deck was domestic harmony. Domestic harmony. So by allowing yourself to connect with spirit, loved ones specifically, it may bring more harmony into your household. And you too are also working on the throat chakra as well. So lots of throat chakra activation during this Mercury Gemini retrograde. 22 is a master number. So this is about building a relationship with spirit, building a relationship with your intuition, building a relationship with learning how to speak and listen so you can have more harmony in your household. When we think about 22, it carries the same message as the number 4. 4 is about home, healing, family, nurturing. In regards to astrology, it's the 4th house, which is associated with Cancer. Cancer is associated with our mothers. Now, maybe bringing more domestic harmony, that relationship that you have with your mom or a mother figure, or what it is you are mothering at this time, meaning a project that you might be working on. So stay attuned to what your purpose is, stay connected to spirit, activate your throat and your ears so you can have that better connection with spirit and not seem so overwhelmed during this time. So that's Virgo. As promised, I'm going to take a look at the comments, see what everybody has to say, and then I'm going to dive right back into the next zodiac. So here we have it, just so we can see. I'm on my phone here, checking it out. So I have Gail with me. So I said hello to Gail already. Norma, hello. Thank you for being here. Susan is here as well. And Susan says, I don't understand my astral chart. Said Mercury in Pisces. All right. So Susan, if you are still with me, hang in there. We haven't gotten there yet. And I will be giving you some insight to what that means for you and anybody else who has Pisces in Mercury on their chart. Remembering that every one of us may have a different zodiac sign in Mercury. And that's why I'm here to share the insight with you in reference to what it actually means. What's the theme on your chart connected to the collective energy, which is Gemini, what that theme is, and how this Mercury retrograde is going to play out for you based on your personal chart. So I'm hoping you understood that, Susan. I'm hoping you're still with me. Hang in there. We'll get to your sign in a little while. Your other question is of Aquarius through sun sign. So which am I going by? So again, Susan, right now you're going by your Mercury sign. Sun sign has absolutely nothing to do with today's forecast. We are focused strictly on the Mercury's energy and the fact that it is in retrograde. So all you're looking at is your Mercury sign on your chart. And as you said, yours is in Pisces. So hang in there. I will give you some amazing insight when we get there. All right, so I think I've answered everyone's questions. So now let's dive into Libra. So now for those of you who might be tuning in, whether you're tuning into my business page or you're tuning into YouTube, know that what I am focusing on today is the energy of Mercury and the fact that it will be in retrograde as of the 10th of this month. It's in Gemini and it will go retrograde in Gemini. And what I'm doing here is I'm giving you the theme of what this Mercury retrograde is going to activate for you on your chart based on your personal energy of Mercury. Hope that made sense. So here we go. So Libra, you're in your 9th house energy, which is associated with traveling. And it's also associated with spiritual wisdom, which is quite interesting because when we think about Mercury, Mercury is associated, when Mercury goes retrograde, Mercury is associated with scheduling and traveling. So there may be some things you may have to pay attention to if, in fact, this time of this retrograde, you will be traveling. You may have to leave a little earlier. You may have to definitely require patience just in case your traveling gets a little delayed. And also because of that spiritual wisdom and because you are an air sign as well, that intellectual energy that you're going to be carrying and pulling in from this time where it's attuning to your intuition, helping you to really connect on a spiritual level with your intuition. So let's see what's in store for you, Libras. What sign, what chakra you need to work on so you can gain the benefit of all this energy. Okay, so Libras, for you, the heart. Working on your heart chakra during this time so you can gain the insight. So anything that might be feeling heavy in your heart that might be related to family, and maybe you might actually be going to travel to family, scheduling time to spend time with family, that might be really a good thing for you to do during this retrograde. But you understand, because we will be in a retrograde, communication sometimes can be a little overwhelming, especially if it's all about the spirituality that we are activating right now. Every one of us are our spirituality is being activated, helping us to connect on a deeper level, moving out of, let's say, a 3D perspective and moving into a 5D perspective where we are able to connect with spirit and being able to receive that information. So this might be a really great time for you to sit quietly and schedule time to connect with family members who are still here on earth, but also in spirit. 1 in 5 is 6. So we talk about that 6 energy that is associated with taking time to heal, taking time to schedule and structure in time for family and time for spiritual family as well. But it's all about your heart for you Libras. So I hope that makes sense. All right, we're moving into Scorpio. So Scorpio, interesting. You're in your 8th house energy, which is exactly where you like to be. There's a lot of energy in Scorpio right now, just due to that Pluto retrograde we have going on. So this is really a great time for you to let go of any expectations of what you expect regarding spirituality, what you expect it to feel like or sound like when you're connecting with spirit. This is a time to let all of that go and be open to a new way of connecting with spirit. A new way, a major transformation is what I just heard. Being open to a new way, a major transformation that's coming in for you Scorpios. All right, interesting card for you Scorpios. I love this one. So being that you're in your 8th house energy, and that's all about that endings and new beginnings coming in, this is a great time activating your crown chakra so you can open up that energy, so you can connect with spirit and your higher self. So this is major. That 11 is about master healing the relationship with yourself and the relationship you're going to have with spirit. Love that card for Scorpios. How does that sound for Scorpios? Love that. So really spend time working on activating your crown. And I said this before, if need be, work with amethyst when working with meditation, so you can really open up your crown chakra and connect with yourself from a higher level. This is a higher self. This is not who you see in the mirror. This is a higher vibration. And healing the relationship you have with yourself, letting go of the old version of you and be open to that new version that's coming in so you can transform. So you Scorpios out there, love that. And again, remembering Mercury when in retrograde is a reflection period. It's time for us to reflect and review and see what works and what doesn't. And what doesn't, it's time to let it go. And what this energy is doing with it being in Gemini, it's helping to activate communication, not just with those on Earth, but those in the spirit realm. And that's a biggie. And every one of us are going to receive some, what I like to call intuitive hits, which could be a little overwhelming if you don't know how to work with that energy. All right, so we're moving into Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you're in your 7th house energy, which is really about finding time to quiet down, spending time in meditation, and very similar to one of the other signs I said earlier, so I think it was Leo, this is a great time to find spiritual retreats to go to. Meditation alone is great, but meditation in a group is so much more powerful. So whether you physically go someplace or you find something on, let's say, virtually, this is a really great time to do that. This Mercury retrograde may very well bring you into a spiritual awakening, and with the help of Uranus, the planet of the spiritual awakening, you may be going through some dark experiences during this retrograde. So hang in there. And know that if you do become overwhelmed, just bring yourself back to center. Let's see what chakra you need to work on so you can aim for that and focus on that color. Interesting for you, Sagittarius. So again, for you, Sagittarius, very similar to Scorpio, it's the crown. So focusing on that purple energy when you start to feel overwhelmed by all the insight that might show up during this period of this retrograde. One sec. Because again, as Mercury is in retrograde in Gemini, that's your 7th house. So this is really a time where you will be exploring, and there will be some dark periods that will show up during the next 5 weeks during this period. It is a great time for forgiveness, though. So as you are in the space of exploring and going within and quieting your mind down, give yourself some grace and start forgiving yourself and others for whatever needs forgiving. 99, when we think of that 9 energy, it is associated with Sagittarius. It's about that spiritual wisdom. It's learning how to come out of the ego and coming away from the anger, the frustration, the abandonment, loneliness, and anything that's attached to that, and moving into that spiritual space where you can forgive. 9-9 works out to 9, which is exactly your actual house that you're in based on Sagittarius. You're in your 7th house energy right now, but this is a time to let things go so you can have a transformation during your spiritual awakening. During this dark time that you will be in, you may very well experience some intense lessons during this Mercury retrograde. So what I'm hearing for you Sagittarius out there is keep a journal and pen with you so you can jot down things that show up and really discover who you are during this period, because by the time this retrograde is over, you're going to be a different version of yourself, and forgiveness is a high priority for you right now. All right, Sag? All right. Moving into Capricorn. Capricorn, you guys are in your 6th house. Now, 6th house is about scheduling, structuring, restructuring, organizing. It's also about health and fitness as well. So when we think about this retrograde period, this could be a time where you're scheduling in some health and fitness into your routine. It could also be a time where you're scheduling and reorganizing your space at the same time. And it is about healing. It's definitely about healing and taking care of your home. Home could be your shelter, but also your body as well. And because Capricorn energy in itself has a lot of energy in it because of that Pluto Capricorn retrograde. So there's a lot going on for your energy. And I do want to make a note before I move into the card for Capricorn. If there is if there is planets in any specific zodiac sign, note that that particular energy is going to be more amplified because of those other signs as well. So for example, Capricorn has Pluto in it right now. So because Pluto is in Capricorn energy and in retrograde, by the way, that means there's a lot of work going on for those Capricorns. So Capricorns, again, if you have Mercury in Capricorn, you have Pluto in Capricorn, you have the Sun in Capricorn, that means you have 3 different planets sitting in Capricorn energy, which means a lot of energy being amplified for you to do the work on self, your soul's purpose. Anytime we think of soul's purpose, it's always coming to ourselves because it's our soul's purpose to why we're here. And I just wanted to make that clear. And if that was not clear enough and you're still quite confused, then hang in there because I have a call to action at the end of this. All right, so Capricorn, as I said, you're in your 6th house energy, which is all about scheduling, organizing, taking care of your health. And your card is the heart, which doesn't surprise me. When we talk about the heart chakra, we're talking about healing the matters of the heart. So anything that causes you to feel heavy, and because again, if you do have Capricorn in any of the areas, again, Pluto is in Capricorn in retrograde. So that's a big one there too. And we have Mercury in retrograde in Gemini. So because we're focusing on that Gemini energy, this is about your spirituality to your soul's purpose, your spiritual wisdom to your soul's purpose. But remember, things are not going to just unfold easily, so you got to be really patient with yourself. And that 4 energy is finding the balance to work between the ego and your spiritual wisdom and scheduling time to sit quietly and make that connection between with your spiritual wisdom, with spirit as well, and asking spirit to guide you on what your soul's purpose is. Why are you here? What are you supposed to be doing? And once you do, you may find your heart start to feel lighter, but really working on the heart center so this energy can flow easily through. That 4 energy is all about the balance, the harmony, the stability, your foundation. And Capricorn, you're about healing your foundation right now. So be patient with yourself as you go through this and recognizing that you're going to receive some spiritual insight that may be able to answer some of these questions that you might be asking yourself. For you Capricorns in Mercury. All right, moving into Aquarius. For those of you who might be just tuning in right now, what I'm doing here is giving you a forecast based on the Mercury energy, your Mercury energy on your personal chart, where that sits, what house is associated with the Mercury Gemini retrograde that's coming up right now, and what that theme is going to play for each and every one of us. And recognizing that because Mercury is in Gemini, what that means is that Gemini is a air sign, it's an intellectual sign, but it helps us to connect with spirit. It allows us that communication from the afterlife on a higher realm and allowing us to connect with our spirituality. And every one of us, depending on what zodiac sign Mercury is on your chart, will give you a theme to what's going to take place during these next 5 weeks. First and last week is the shadow period, and then there's that 3 weeks of retrograde. All right, so Aquarius, you guys are in your 5th house energy. And what that means is freedom, change, creativity, expression, and wanting to have fun. And when we think of that freedom and change and wanting to have fun and expression, lots of communication in your head as Aquarius. Lots of communication in your head. You might be over-processing, overthinking everything that you are putting your eyes on. So let's see what card shows up and to help you be more aligned with this energy so you don't feel so overwhelmed by what's going on with this energy. Interesting card that shows up. And the only zodiac sign that got one. So it's about the heart chakra. So it's really about working on the heart center to clear out the energy that needs to be cleared. So this energy that's coming in for you guys, the intuitive hits can come in easily. 0-0 is all about the potential and choices that are coming in for you. There is never one way of doing something. There are always choices. You always have a different way that you could do something if the way that you're doing it isn't working. Now, the message here is about a Reiki treatment. So those of you who have Aquarius and Gemini, Aquarius in Mercury energy. So if your Mercury on your personal chart is an Aquarius, please go ahead, call to action, redeem a 15-minute complimentary Reiki treatment by me. To do that, you will need to email that email on the bottom, which says healingwithin76@gmail.com, to redeem your 15-minute complimentary session. When you do email, please put in the email that you have a Mercury in Aquarius during the Mercury retrograde in Gemini. You must redeem this before May 10th. So you have 4 days. So if your schedule's a little busy, my suggestion is as soon as this live is finished, go ahead and redeem that 15-minute complimentary session. And again, that's for anyone who has Mercury in Aquarius. If you don't have Mercury in Aquarius, this does not apply to you. All right. So last but not least, and hopefully Susan, who was asked a question about her sign, hopefully she's here with me. In fact, I don't think she is, so I'm going to holler her back in. So perhaps she can gain some insight here. And she may or may not be. I may not be able to bring her back in. Okay, I realize I can't. All right. Anyway. So we are on the final zodiac sign, the 12th zodiac sign, which happens to be in the 4th house. Pisces is in the 4th house, which 4th house is associated with Cancer energy, which is about home. Being home. We talk about home. It could be family related based on your shelter. And it's also about your body. How you take care of your body and how you make that connection. Becoming aware of when we talk about our spirituality, becoming aware intuitively. When we think of Pisces, as I said earlier, Pisces is the 12th house energy, carries all the energies of all 12 zodiac signs. It's also the most intuitive zodiac sign of all. And and I use the word we, not because my Mercury's in Pisces, but because my sun is, but that's totally different. And I don't want to confuse you. But those of you who have Pisces as in your Mercury energy, you are intuitive. You are very intuitive in regards to that connection, spirit connection that you do have. However, it could be overwhelming for you because if you don't know how to use it, if you're not working with it, it can become chaotic for you. It can literally create chaos in your life where you start to think things are a little out of sorts. And because of Mercury being in retrograde in Gemini, this may amplify that more so, which is one of the reasons why I'm here to share this information. So if you do start to feel overwhelmed by your gifts, meaning hearing spirit, maybe even seeing spirit, but this one is really about that spirit connection of listening and speaking, where you'll actually maybe start to hear, and I'm going to say it this way so it makes sense. You may start to hear voices in your head. And it doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means that your intuition is becoming more heightened. So if you are that person, Pisces, that might be feeling like you hear voices in your head, or you keep hearing people say your name, or you keep hearing something, but there's no one there with you, that's letting you know spirit is making that connection. And if you can ground yourself during this time, it will be an easier transition to start to learn how to turn that energy on without being overwhelmed. So let's see what chakra can help you. And understanding, because your Pisces are with this energy is in the 4th house, it's really helping you to create this new foundation with spirit. I'm sort of jealous that I don't have a Pisces Mercury, because that would be really fun. That would be really fun. So let's see what's in store for you Pisces and how to work on what chakra so you can benefit on this amazing energy that's coming in for you. All right, here we go. Interesting enough, the chakra to work on is the third eye. The third eye, you really want to activate your third eye so you can start allowing yourself to see yourself as this intuitive being. Also, by doing that, it may help you to activate the ability to see spirit, not just speak to spirit, which is really fun. The affirmation is financial abundance. By you doing this, what Mercury's retrograde may very well help you do is activate financial abundance, because you'll be able to connect with spirit, and spirit will be able to guide you on how to bring more abundance into your life. The number 1 and 7 is 8. When we think of 8 in astrology, it is associated with Scorpio, and the ruler of Scorpio is Pluto. So Pluto in that retrograde with Capricorn may also help you really work on letting things go that do not serve your purpose when it comes to financial abundance. So perhaps when we think about that Pluto energy in Capricorn's retrograde, this may also have a big reflection on letting go of a job that no longer serves so you can be aligned with a job that does. The 8 energy is all about letting things go so you can bring something new in so you can have a transformation. In numerology, the number 8 is about balance, harmony, achievement, success, financial abundance as well. So you Pisces have a lot going on during this retrograde period. Where it really plays when we speak about that Mercury Gemini retrograde, where it's helping you to activate your spiritual communication, your spirituality. You also have that energy with the 4th house, which is that connection again with your mom, with yourself, and the things you're mothering right now, your projects. And because your card that you have here is based on that 8 energy, it has that we're going to connect the dots to the Scorpio house, which is the 8th house that's associated with Pluto. So Pluto is going to help a lot with this Mercury retrograde as well, to help you let go of things that no longer serve you in building this new foundation. That 4 is all about your foundation. So there's a lot going on here for you Pisces. It's a fun time as long as you work on your third eye and start to visualize this amazing energy that's coming in and stop resisting. So if you are someone who, again, Pisces, Mercury energy, if you are someone who is at a crossroad right now with your job, where let's say your job has let you go, or you're thinking about leaving your job, that's a really good thing for right now, because it's actually exactly where you need to be, because you are building a new foundation that's going to help you bring in more financial abundance. But you got to allow yourself to work on the third eye so you can have this. If your third eye is closed, stagnant, or blocked, you're not going to be in alignment to all this amazing energy that this Mercury retrograde can help you with. This is a reflecting period, not an acting period. And please note that. So you have to be really patient. That number 4 is also about patience. Nothing is going to resolve itself during this retrograde. It will start to resolve itself once Mercury goes direct. All right, guys. So there you have it. There you have it. There you have it. This is the energy that we have going on with Mercury in retrograde in Gemini. For those of you who are just popping in, hello, Damaris. How are you, my love? Those of you who are just popping in, I invite you to come back and watch this from the very beginning. Listen for your zodiac sign. When you hear your zodiac sign, grab pen and paper. Pay attention to the card that showed up, the color that showed up. The color is the most important part here because it's associated with your chakra. And that's the chakra that you're going to need to work on so you can be in alignment to this amazing energy that Mercury's retrograde in Gemini is actually going to help you with. Please note again that Mercury in Gemini in retrograde is really going to activate our spirituality and our connection with spirit, that communication. It can be very overwhelming for many of us because it's going to come in very quickly due to this energy. And if you're not used to working with spirit, if you're not used to hearing spirit, it can become a little overwhelming, especially if you think you're hearing things in your head and you're like, what the hell's going on? But go with it. Watch each of the zodiac signs that's associated with you. There's one card for each zodiac sign because there's only one energy associated with the Mercury. And whatever your Mercury sign is, tune into that card, write out the color, write out the affirmation, write out the number, and do what you need to do to get that chakra to move so you could benefit from this amazing Mercury retrograde in Gemini. Do understand that anytime we have a retrograde period, it's a time to reflect, not necessarily to do. Those of you in Gemini, those of you who carry a Mercury in Gemini, this is a great time for you because it's actually in your zodiac sign. And everything that most of us practitioners say not to do, because it's in your zodiac sign, you get the green light to do because you have the higher advantage. So do just as that. Follow the cards, follow the colors, do what you need to do to stay aligned to this energy. Know that we are 4 days away from this retrograde going. We're still in a shadow period. I would love to know how this plays out for you, how the card that is associated with your zodiac sign works for you, how you work with your chakras. And you can let me know this. You can keep me informed by emailing healingwithin76@gmail.com. Those who happen to be watching on my Facebook page, if you want to keep me informed through Messenger, I would love to know that too. Those from my YouTube channel, the email's right there. And like I said, I'm on my business page today, so this is live, going live there too. All right, guys. I enjoy being with all of you today. I do hope you got as much out of this as I got for today. Super excited for this retrograde that's coming in and to see how every one of us are going to be more intuitive by time this retrograde is over. And hopefully with this card reading, it prevents you from being overwhelmed. Again, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, and also the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck. And I do look forward to connecting with you really soon. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day and night wherever you are in the world. Till next time. Bye-bye.